Good morning, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you're on the lifeboat. What's happening, peeps? Let's see here. Wednesday, August the 16th, 2023. Hope you're starting off to a good morning. Charlie, good to see you. Lemmy, what's happening? 7th. Always a pleasure. Hello, Kelly Gerling. Good to see you. I want to tell you guys something. So in the last little bit, I don't know, call it a week. I don't know, maybe a week and a half. A week, somewhere in there. Had kind of an interesting phenomenon. Phenomenon. An interesting phenomenon that has happened to me. And it's kind of odd. It really is. Balake. Always a pleasure, Balake Richardson. Mind Games, good to see you. You know how many mind games we have now? This messes with me. There's a bunch of you. There really is. There's a bunch of mind games. 60 is the original, I think. But there's a bunch now of mind games. Full of Hope, good to see you. Teresa and Ellen? Oh, G. I'm sorry. I thought that was an ampersand. That's a G. I apologize. Teresa G. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. That's awful. It really is. Good morning, Annette. All right, let's get to work. So, really weird things been happening. Aside from the fact that I'm getting attacked by a crap load of people and, all of that stuff. I'm having fun. I'm not kidding you, people. And I'm having fun for the first time in a hot minute. And I don't mean in life. I've been having fun in life. I mean, since I got out, I've been having fun in life. I really have. Ups, downs, health, whatever. I'm free. I feel pretty freaking fantastic. I got a pretty nice roof over my head that I've been able to secure. And I'm happy where I'm at, man. I really am. And just for a laugh before we get rolling. This new house, this Arizona house, right in the middle of it, dead square in the middle of this in this house is a fireplace. And this kind of fireplace you can see from both sides. It's open on both sides. And it's like maybe like 8 by 10. It's a big fireplace, right? And it's got one side of it's sort of edged out a little bit further than the other. It's kind of it's all done in slate. But the cat has started to hang out right near that thing. And when I walk by, she gets on the other side of it. And as I walk, she tries to, sort of like almost a hide and seek kind of a thing. And I spent about 20 minutes yesterday with Squirrel, sort of chasing her around that thing, or her chasing me, and we would look through the middle, and she would try to get me from one side to the other. People, I laughed so hard last night. I thought I was going to split my side. That cat is hysterically funny. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That just made me laugh because I heard Squirrel making noise in the background. But here on the boat, I'm having fun for the first time in a really, really long time. And you know what's funny? There's a bunch of people crapping all over me and that kind of thing. And that happens a lot on YouTube. That's kind of just a reality, but it hasn't happened to us in a long time. And I don't think one thing has anything to do with the other, but but I really am having a really good time. And I don't know, there's something to be said for it. There really is something to be said for being happy in what you're doing. And I don't want you to think that I've been bummed out for the last 5 or 6 months or whatever, but it's just, I don't know, if you do 2 shows a day and you do them all the time, you do them for a couple of years, you always kind of go through peaks and valleys. And I know people on the boat have heard this speech before because I've done the peaks and valley speech on here, because it is very much a reality of what we do. It's not like shooting a video and editing a video and doing all the things that comes with that. When everything that you do is live and you do it a couple of times a day, you're gonna put up crap content. You're gonna put up some decent content, and everything in between. Every once in a while you'll do a great show, and the just as importantly, there'll be times where you're loving everything you're doing, and there'll be times where you're hating it. And I think that's as a content creator in general. But what we do on the boat, I can't have you crawling on the computer, Cat. Seriously, I cannot. She likes the warmth of the keyboard. Unfortunately, I've got hotkeys, right? So if she steps on the wrong one, the live feed is over, and that's kind of a bummer for all parties that are watching the lifeboat. So this isn't the normal YouTube channel, right? This is a channel where we really interact with the people who are part of the audience here, right? We really, really do interact with the crew, and a lot, right? It's almost a full-time gig, and that's always rewarding. It is, and it's always, there's fulfillment in that at all times. No joke, but it's not always fun. For real, it's not. There are times it sucks. There are times that the people that you're helping you don't like, right? That happens. You get on a tear that the 5, 6, 7 people, whatever that you happen to be working with at any given time, tend to not be fun to work with, and tend to be people that are difficult. Right now, everything is clicking. Everything is fun. One of my best friends sent me one of the nicest messages that I have ever read. Best friends in a foreign country, very good friend in a foreign country. One of my very close friends sent me a message on Messenger, and it was just one of those things that you read and you think, oh, it's beautiful. But with slings and arrows, and you'll see. I think there's 2 names that you'll see that are gone. People that left the boat, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. Because normally when the slings and arrows come flying and the attacks come, and with all due respect to the parties that we lost, it's always going to shake out a few idiots. I'm sorry, for real. The people that buy all of that crap, it's going to shake out a few of those, and it's also going to shake out a couple of people that just can't stand drama and think that, oh no, here's another channel that happens to. And I understand both of those things. Like, for real, that's part of the deal. But every time it's happened, you feel it. You see, 25 or 30 people disappear from your channel, and you go, oh man, that hurts. Now, it hurts a lot more when you got 700 people. Right? When you got 1,300 people and you lose 100, like, that stings. When you have 6,000 people, if we had lost 30, it would have been a lot more difficult to notice. But of the people that we know, there are 2 names that you're probably not going to see anymore. And you know what? It's unfortunate. It really is. But the people that jump from the people who jump from group to group and sort of chase drama or want to be enveloped in that, man, I'd run like hell from any of those people anyway. I really would. But you know something? It breathes a little life in. It really does. And there's just been a lot of really interesting crap going on. And you know what? The move dragged me down in a really big way. And that stole a lot of energy out of the show. And I apologize, because it is more than just, coming here and talking. It's a sobriety thing. And if my spirits are in the dump, it's not helping a lot of the people that are here. I mean, it's not that I'm hurting you. It's just that usually if I'm a little bit more upbeat, we do shows that tend to be a little bit more upbeat. And I think that's important. I mean, I'm not sugarcoating anything, right? But when you say the things that you say with a smile, and you seem to be having fun doing it, even if the message is, look, we're fighting a battle that we're probably going to see the vast majority of our friends lose. That sucks. For the time being, that is the truth. Maybe over time, we're going to get better at this sobriety thing as a culture, as a people. I think that when the stigma of addiction isn't what it was, when people can talk about addiction like they talk about diabetes or anything else without someone going, oh, one of those, right? I think when that is a worldwide thing, when people just have come to realize that addicts really are people too, and that maybe they should just be treated like everybody else. I think when that is the worldwide feeling, then we're going to see a renaissance in how addiction is treated and how it is handled. If people could just if people could feel confident enough to go to anyone and say, listen, you know what, I started off just as someone that was drinking a little bit of a little bit of brew, and the next thing I knew, I found myself unable to stop this. And have people go, oh, okay, yeah, come on, know exactly what to do for you. This happens all the time. Come on in, no big deal. Good point. Mental health too. Excellent point. Mental health. I'll be really honest with you. I kind of think, I don't know. I've always sort of thought they're the exact same thing. I mean, maybe I just think that mental health is the umbrella that covers all of it, because addiction is absolutely a mental health issue. And anyone that doesn't see that has probably never had their life touched by it. And I don't necessarily mean that you have to be an addict. I just mean have your life touched by it in any way. Have a friend that can't get sober, or a family member, or anything. Just having watched it in society. There's no one in this life whose life hasn't been touched by this. But one of the things that we haven't been discussing over the course of the last, I don't know, forever long it has been that I've been kind of a buzzkill. 4 months, 3 months. And listen, I hate I really am not the excuse guy. I'm not. I will tell you absolutely things that are facts. And sometimes those facts do affect what's going on in your life. What I like the move. The move took the starch right out of me. I mean, it really did. It took the starch right out of me. And then I got here and I had that thing with my heart. And that that as well has really kind of taken the starch out of me. That was a frightening experience, because even when you're starting to get old, I joke about it here all the time on the boat about me being an old man and this and that. And my daughter gets a pretty good laugh out of picking on the fact that I'm older than dirt. In fact, it's one of her favorite things to say. But the truth of the matter is, I don't feel old, and I think that's how most people of our age feel. I mean, you're still young enough to kind of act stupid. You know what I mean? You're not old enough yet to where getting up and walking around and getting out of the chair and stuff is so difficult that you can't do it. I don't think I'm far away, but not quite there yet. So I don't feel old, but the heart thing was a shocker. It really was, and it wasn't. Again, it just took the starch out of me, and it's been one thing after another. It really has. It's kind of been one thing after another, and it's not like they've all gotten better either. They really haven't. It's just that I don't know. I've kind of reached this. I don't want to call it the new normal. I don't want to. Honestly, I don't even know how to. Maybe I should have really kind of thought about this before I decided to talk about it. But the truth is, I'm just sort of sharing it with you guys. This is, I would say that the last 48 hours, maybe 72 hours, I really just started to kind of get back into the zone. And it got to the point where you come in here and you sit down and you get everything, you fire the lights up or whatever. And you get excited. You know what I mean? You go get something to drink and you're like looking at the watch, how much time before this thing fires up, and you're ready to sit down and start talking to people again. And one of the other things too, and I'm not making excuses. I'm not. But I am absolutely telling you, these are the things that drag you down. One what I should be trying to do is make an excuse for why the hell I'm different now. Because to be really honest with you, I'm not exactly sure what the catalyst for this huge, I mean, it was almost like a light bulb. Oh, hello, squirrel. What do you say, kitty? All she wants to do is crawl behind this computer and knock stuff over. It is really her mission in life until about 9 o'clock in the morning. At 9 o'clock in the morning, her mission will be to get outside and knock and get birds. And there you, who's a good girl? Huh? Who's a good girl? She really does not want to just lay down in this basket, but it really has just sort of lit up, and it's changed not just here in front of the camera. It's changed how I'm dealing with people when I talk with them one-on-one, text with them one-on-one, whatever. It's my correspondence and my interactions with people, even outside of this. I was working yesterday with a guy on my other business, and I'm just happier. I'm in sync, and I think there's a lesson in this that we don't live this way. It would be really freaking awesome if we did, wouldn't it? But it's been good. The last 6 months, it has not been fun like this at all. It hasn't. And I don't just mean the boat. I'm talking about everything. It just has not been it has not been as much fun. It hasn't. It hasn't been a bummer. I could have lived the rest of my life in that condition and been pretty happy. But then things fall back into a rhythm that you haven't felt in a really long time. And you get to that there's that instant recollection of, oh man, I remember when life used to be like this most of the time. I remember when more of my life was spent kind of with a crap-eating grin on my face, and then that really small amount of time was I, deep in thought or perplexed or working through something that was frustrating or whatever. And now it's just, now you get to that point where I was talking about this on last night's show. And if you didn't see last night's show, shame on you. But on last night's show, I was saying the memory part of our brain is very hardwired and attached to imprint deeper based on things that are novel, like they're happening for the first time. You've never done it before. Those tend to make an imprint in the memory a little bit different than do other events. And even more so are things that are tied very heavily to emotion, right? If something happens to you that is just absolutely beautiful, and the brain chemicals that are flooding you at the time are, the feel good, kind of chemicals, the love and the bonding type of things, like the first time that you were handed your child in the hospital, right? That kind of bonding chemical, right? That's going to imprint on your memory like very few things ever will. The type of those memories that get hardwired into you are most often tied to novelty or tied to emotion. That stuff doesn't happen very often anymore. Once you get past the age of about 18, what is novel in your life after 18? I mean, yeah, I'm going to a restaurant I've never been to. Well, that's kind of novel, but you've been going to restaurants for a long time. You might get on an airplane, fly to a new place. That's really novel. That's very cool. Probably not your first time taking a vacation, though, right? The firsts for us are pretty much over. So now what you're left with is the only things that tend to really imprint on us as we grow older are the stuff that's tied to emotion, right? Because the first time around stuff, I mean, we knock out in our teens for the most part, and maybe early 20s or whatever. So from that point on, fun takes on a different meaning, right? It's not imprinting on you the way that it used to. This is why we think back to when we were kids and we remember everything. Everything. Think of how great your memory is from your childhood versus now, right? If I said to you, "What did you do last Tuesday?" You'd be like, I don't have any idea. But if I said, what was the name of your kindergarten or first grade teacher, I think a lot of you would probably just fire that out really quickly. That was a long, long time ago, right? But that was a huge thing. Those things were massive. Well, currently, I'm actually having enough fun. Hold that thought. I'm going to have to do this a couple of shows too, because not all, there's a crew of people that catch mostly mornings, and there are people that catch more at the night. Hello, Christy from Nashville, Tennessee, and welcome to the Lifeboat. So just in case these people don't catch the morning shows, I'll do it a couple of times. But I missed Susie Q yesterday on last night's live. She put up a donation, and I really, really appreciate it. I didn't see it until it was over. I hate that. I also wanted to congratulate Miss Dragon, who said, I believe, that on the that she was going to be missing a little time here because she's going to be getting married that day. I believe it was. I believe the date is the 12th of September, if I'm not mistaken. And just a big shout out to Miss Dragon. I didn't know that was coming, but I think that's cool as hell. And I also, it occurred to me, I talk about the old times on this boat. I do it a lot. And I think a lot of this is something that people do, right? We hearken back to things all the time. And the very early days of the boat were fun, and they were different. They were definitely a very, very different time. But I always start ripping off names, and I tend to name the same 3 or 4 names every time. One of the reasons is I'm looking at them. Right? They're usually right here. So it makes it a lot easier. So you don't have to go back to recall or anything else. But I'll tell you something. There are names I leave out. And this occurred to me the other day, and it kind of bummed me out. I don't talk about, but back in the early days, Leisure was there. Leisure was there almost from Jump Street. He did change names a few times. But Leisure Beast has been here, almost as long as anybody. And, Lady Crispin. I don't know that I mentioned Fiona, and Fiona was not just here. Fiona did so much for the Lifeboat. It was frightening, for real. As far as as far as everything, she really was just very, very a huge integral part of making this thing fly. And she's been busy. She's moved from one part of the country to the other, and she also lost a couple of family members in a really short really short period of time. So she hasn't been around as much, but absolutely a huge part of the Lifeboat, especially in the early days. Just, I don't think that another person that without her, there might not be a boat. I mean, that's just real. All of these people, that's why I was mentioning them. But Chi-Chi, her, and the two of them, by the way, were born on the same day. Right, same day, same year, just on separate parts of the world, and the two of them were just thick as thieves. They were truthfully like sisters, and in the early days, they were just always here. I don't remember if they ever missed any. And then Bent Genetics was another one that has been here forever. Has been here as long as anybody has. And I feel bad that when I shout out Charlie Murphy and Seventh and V. When I shout out all of the names, there were so many of them. There really were. There were so many people. But I got thinking about it. Last night because I'm trying to remember the last time I was having this much freaking fun sitting in front of the microphone. Like really, that's where my head was at. And the early days were incredible. The early days were incredible because there was like 9 people, right? And we did this just like this. There was no difference except there was like 9 people. So it was just like having a conversation. If I said something, that somebody didn't understand in the chat, they'd be like, "Hey, Tommy, back up." They got a different kind of performance. I think a different kind of meeting. The early days were great, and you know what? These days are great. They really are. These days are absolutely great. But and you know what? Tomorrow will be just as good. It's going to get tougher though for me to spit out all of the names of all of the people that have been here because now there are just so many fantastic people. You have got to be kidding. You have got to be kidding. That is so funny. This is so funny. Wow, I haven't been here in a long while, and I cannot believe how much the boat has grown. So good to see that. So that's Chi. I want you to know I talk about you every single day on this boat. This is not just because you are here. You can ask anybody in the comment section. I mention you on every single show. All right, I can't back that up. It's really bizarre that you're here, Chi, because I was just talking about you. I was just talking about all the people in the early days of the boat, and that's just damn funny. I swear to you, on everything that there's a long delay. So I was done talking about you before I saw your you pop up on the screen. That's just funny as hell. That's really funny. What a trip. But great to have you here. It really is. I was just reminiscing about the early days of the boat. But I was the reason I brought it up, Chi, is because I said I don't remember the last time I had this much fun on the lifeboat, and a lot of it has to do too with the fact that the new crew, the new group of people that have recently come in a lot of ways, are just like the people that we had in the early days. There really is something so damn similar between this crew now and that crew then. And I don't know whether it's just, yeah, I don't know what it is. And I wouldn't even know what to attribute it to. I'm not sure that I would be able to even articulate it very well. But I think what it comes down to is everybody. We have a very happy group of people here right now that are very, very. You guys brought life. All of the new people here. I think that maybe that's got a lot to do with why I'm happy. For real, because I think that you know what, I love the early crew, everybody that was here. But you know what, when we're all coming here every day and almost trudging through, and then all of a sudden you've got 25 new people to get to know, right? That are in the chat and are in the chat a lot, and then you got 10 or 15 more, and the next thing you know, I'm kind of a perpetual thing. And I think the reason this doesn't work as well in a lot of other places is because there's an us and a them that takes place all the time. And there's these little cliques that kind of build up. And you know what? The boat just doesn't do it. It really doesn't. And I think maybe by nature, because of the fact that, you know, we encourage so much interaction between one another, that you know, very often you have a good size crew. Hold on. Terribly sorry. I got you know, you got to check if you sit in this chair and you get texts. I mean, you pretty much have to check them because you never know what it's going to be. Lots of love to you, Chi-Chi. So good to see you here, man. It really is. Really is. Chi-Chi's one of my favorite people. Period. Just a really, really amazing person. Most mornings, super strong coffee, gym, and the boat. Kind of sets me on a good path for the day. I love that. Seriously, how good does that sound? Do you know what I didn't do today? I did not drink coffee, people. I did not drink coffee. Did anybody hear that? Somebody give me some props for that. I'll be really honest. I didn't drink coffee this morning because Squirrel was probably the cutest I have ever seen her. Like, for real. I was trying to get the thumbnail, and I was you know, jotting down notes and things like that, and she was just coming up and, like, you know, I had my journal out. She was like, she would lay on it. And you know, you pet her and you move the journal back and she would just lay on it. And it got to a point where I was laughing so hard. It didn't matter where I moved this thing. She was just like a magnet walking to it and laying on it. And I played that stupid game for so long that I didn't have time to make a cup of coffee before I fired up the lifeboat. Kathy says, oh my God, I'd be in the hospital with no coffee. If you've never seen Kathy play an instrument, if you have not seen that woman make music, you need to. You should go by and check out her channel. Just it's a weird thing with musicians, right? I'm not a musician. My hands are way too big. I don't think there's anything in this world, right? Any instrument that would be well suited to my fingers. I screw around on a harmonica a little bit. I have fun just messing around with one, but I'm not a musician by any stretch. But I dig music, and the funny thing is, if you get 75 people, right, who all play the flute, uh, the difference doesn't become the fact that people can play, right? It's that they're all the same notes. There's something fascinating to me about music because right, they're all playing the same notes, but one person can take those notes and make you feel them instead of listen to them, right? And there's something that literally sucks you into it. There's I don't know. I don't want to get all like woo, but there really is something almost extra worldly about it. There really is. I don't know. Music trips me out, and there's just not much of it left. And I'm not busting on anybody or anybody's taste in music or anything else. But even if the music that you're listening to has a bunch of people playing live instruments, there's still a disconnect, right? They're gonna take it, they're gonna compress it, they're gonna jam it on the things, and I don't know. It's you don't. I mean, unless you're going to concerts or whatever, it's rare that you get to see somebody that's just sort of loving the world through an instrument, you know. And if you can see that in it, and it's when it's one person, it's just there's something super intimate about it. It's really amazing stuff. It's amazing, amazing stuff. Christy says music is so healing, and she's spot on, right? Spot on. 432 hertz. 432 hertz. Is there a dot in there, or is that just 432, or is that 4.32? It's 432 because I don't know what the reference is to, but 4.32, 4 hertz would be. There's a watch that vibrates at that or really close to it. I know I just saw it when I was messing around with I don't know if you can see it, but that little device down there on the bottom that's like lit up, it's a device that you take a watch and you stick it into, and it tells you what it's vibrating at. And oh, okay, thank you, Full of Hope. I do know what that. Thank you. You know what? Again, with the nose. Hold on, people. Do you know what's terribly sad? I'll tell you what's terribly sad. I actually had the Navage loaded up. You should see the look. The cat's like this. Her ears are back, and she's looking at me with huge eyes like a gremlin. I don't think she liked that noise very much. But I had the Navage locked and loaded. Aaron, our friend from growing up in Scientology, made a reference once. Somebody said that, you know, he's stuffed up all the time too. And somebody said, you need a neti pot. And he said, yeah, like I'm going to do a neti pot or, you know, suck water up my nose on, you know, on live YouTube. And first of all, I think I already have. Might not have been on my channel. It might have been on my brother Johnny's, but I've done a Navage on the air before. I think it might have been on Chase the Heat, but I had it locked and loaded because I thought it was going to be really funny. Instead of just doing it there, I wasn't going to let you see all of the foulness that went in it, but you would get the idea. And then I forgot it in the bathroom, so I didn't Navage, which is really stupid. I'm mostly a classical girl, but I'm regularly on a live stream that is mostly metalheads. I'm always so surprised that they play my stuff. I don't think you should be. I don't think you should be surprised that they play your stuff. Because once again, it gets back to what I was just talking about. And you're right, Full of Hope. Johnny doing Navage was really funny. But it's just what I'm talking about, Kathy. When you see somebody that does something and they're doing it at the top of the game, then there's just something that you can't. I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this, but I will do it this way. There's a girl on Instagram, and I don't go on Instagram anymore, but I used to be like big into Instagram. I had like 10,000 friends or whatever you call them on followers. Followers? What do you call them on? Instagram. I don't know. I went over there the other day to look at my old account. I think I got like 5,000 that are actually still there. But I had a big account at one time, and I was kind of into it. But they have this thing over there where this girl, and I don't know, she must be, I don't know. She could be anywhere from like 15 to 25. I don't know. And she's in another country, but she kicks a soccer ball, right? And she keeps this soccer ball in the air. But she doesn't just keep it in the air. Like she kicks it and then her foot will go around it 3 times. And like it's like this intricate dance that she does with this soccer ball the entire time, kicking it and catching it on her foot. I couldn't stop watching it. I couldn't. It got to a point where I became half-assed obsessed with it. Like I started to see if there were other people doing the same thing. And I found a guy that did it that was so ridiculous that I don't know. I had to back it off a notch. He was so good that it was almost no fun to watch. But seeing anybody at the top of their game doing anything, I don't care what it is. I'll watch anything if the person that is doing it beautifully. Like I don't care what you're doing. I'm fascinated by any of that. I really am. Anybody that's plying their craft and doing it with style. Injection for allergies works to stop a stuffy nose. Really? The real too. Could you tell me do you know a name of that injection? Boy, I would be stoked if you could tell me the name of that. If I could go and just get a shot for this. Oh, for the love of God, please tell me the name of that. Yeah, it's bend it like Beckham. Oh, there you go. See that? Full of Hope says bend it like Beckham changed women's soccer. Watching somebody who's really, really good at what they do, it literally can change you. You know, Chris, what's the guy that plays the trumpet? Body. Is it Bodie? Chris Bodie? Anyway, one of the last concert I ever went to with my dad was one of his concerts, and we went in Lake Tahoe. We were up in Tahoe, and it was snowing like a banshee too. It was one of those nights that it was just dumping. A chi machine. Chris, I don't know what that is. I need to research that. It's a steroid. I will find. Okay, do that. And Chris, if you can tell me what a chi machine is, I would be interested in knowing that. But we went to see this guy, and he was just what an unbelievable trumpet player, right? I mean, just an unbelievable. The guy played the horn, and he brought in one person after another to sit in for maybe one song. And it would be like the greatest bassist you've ever seen. And then clarinet, like our girl. And it was just one after another. They bring all of these people in. And then he sort of mills out and gets into the crowd. Body, thank you. Okay. And he starts to mill about the crowd a little bit. And he said, he goes out, I have another trumpet. Is there anybody here, who knows how to play the trumpet? I would like to. And there's a couple of older guys that raised its hand. And there was a kid, and he was sitting next to my dad. He was literally on the other side of my father. And my dad's huge. My dad was a big, big man. And so the kid's trying to wave his hand. So my dad whistles, which he could do louder than anybody in the world. And I mean, it was literally like shrill. My dad was almost famous for it. And he would do it at places you weren't supposed to because he thought it was really funny. Like you'd go to an opera, and as the opera was over, before you'd hear the first clap, you'd hear one of those just unbelievable, like that was great whistles. Well, he did this, and Chris Body sees the kid, and I thought, oh man, why would you do this to and kids tend to be bulletproof. To put them in front of an audience or whatever, they tend to be fairly bulletproof and they'll bounce back. But I'm thinking to myself, oh man, I hope this kid doesn't suck. And so Chris Body gives the kid the horn, and the kid's like,
what should I play? And he goes, well, do you know, is there something you can play? And he just ripped off a scale, but he went up and down and started playing scales. And I tell you what, that kid, someday, that kid's going to go on tour. Because as Chris Body said, he asked the kid how old he was. He said, I wish you could have seen how I played this instrument when I was your age. He's like, because you are 500 times better right now than I was when I was your age. But to watch people, and I honestly, I don't care what you're doing. To watch people who are doing what they are good at, it's fun. It's absolutely fun to watch. It really is. And what started this was, we have people in this audience who are incredibly talented. We really do. And we have a stink pile of them. We really do. I mean, and everybody's talented in different ways, but we have some musicians on this on this boat that we have creators, people that actually create and do some some really amazing things. And I, for one, am having a really, really good time. Kathy says, Annette, I maybe have 120 videos in my channel. Probably sounds about right. Miss Dragon reached 1,000 subscribers. Did you see this? Booyah. Congratulations to, I'll tell you what, just so that we know, right? Because how often do you see this? See that? That's a 3. That is a 3. That 3 right there is for Miss Dragon. I could not be any happier. Miss Dragon does great stuff. If you've never gone over and checked her out, now would be a really good time. She can now begin the process of bringing YouTube on as a partner. And it's not about getting rich, people. You don't monetize to get rich. You monetize because they then start to push the product, right? They have a vested interest. If they can make money, more money, because they're making money one way or another. But if they can make more money by partnering up with you, they absolutely will do it. And I'll tell you something. This makes me think back. I'm glad Chi-Chi's here too, because I remember back in the early days of the boat, right? When so we came out the door pretty quick, right? We got to 1,000 people. I don't know, month and a half or something like that. We got to 1,000 pretty quick. It was right after the Stroming video, right? So it was in August. It was August 12th is what it was. It was August 12th, I think. I'm pretty damn sure it was August 12th. But I did the Stroming video. We got to 1,000 people. And then we needed to get, 4,000 hours. Jana, thank you. That is so kind, and I'm glad that you are here. I really am. You're struggling. You know what, Jana? Listen, I'm not sure what you're struggling with because I don't know what your substance of choice is. And then, by the way, if anyone ever hears me say that and you think to yourself, damn, man, I told this dude what my drug of choice was on a daily basis. About 35 or 40 people tell me what their drugs of choice are. And I really do try to remember all of you, but it's really, really hard. But Jenna, you know what? Did we toss any ones up there for her? I've been picked on by a ton of other channels, multiple other channels for the use of numbers, like throwing up a 1 for thoughts and prayers for people. There are channels that seem to really like the fact that I do that. They have fun with that. And I'm never going to stop. I love the concept of putting up the 1. I really do. I love the idea that everybody here can just say, I'm here for you. And you know what? You see Chi-Chi with the number 1. It doesn't matter how you do it. Chi-Chi is my favorite, default setting. I used to tell people all the time I wanted the default setting for all people on the lifeboat to be Chi-Chi, because she is just one of the most loving and positive people you will ever meet in your entire life. And you know what? We are so different in every single way. How we worship, where we live, what country we're in. We are so different in every way. And it just doesn't make a crap bit of difference because we focus on the things that bring us together and we celebrate the things that make us different. And it's been great for everybody. And that's been for a lot of people. It really has. I love you, Chi Chi. I do. My whole family does. My brother does. It's just really, really good to see you. And good to see you, smiling, because I can see that she's smiling. And I saw her in a picture recently and she was smiling. She looked great. And you look great, Chi Chi. You really do. You look better than I've seen you in a really long time. And that makes me happy too, man. It really does. Phases of the Moon V says, Kathy, you can play metal with music with any instrument. I have seen it. I will say that the bagpipes belong in heavy metal and they just don't get enough use in heavy metal, right? I mean, AC/DC, tossed in a little, but I am a fan. I am so smiling too. See, I knew it. But getting back to the start of the show a little bit. I love the lifeboat. I do. I love it on bad days. I love everybody on this boat. And I love you guys when you're not having good days. And I love it when you're not happy with me. And, I love you guys. I really do. And I love our mission. I love our cause. I love that. I love that we've grown and we've matured to a level here that, I don't know. We've been there and done that. You know what I mean? Like I got a phone call yesterday from somebody who's a content creator who came across, some hate-filled crap about me on some platform. And I don't even know which one, to be honest, because there's a bunch of them right now. There's no longer just, that one person that was out there wanting me gone. Like, no, there's a crap load of them. And, but the person reached out to me and, to tell me that this thing was out there. And I said, yeah, I don't care. And he said, yeah, but when the people on the boat, I said, the people on the boat aren't going to care. And he's like, oh, dude, you don't know. I said, no, you don't know. I'm like, we've been doing this for years. I'm like, we've been doing this a long time, man. I'm like, it feels different. And maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it's because boulders started flying at the, at the rock wall again. Only this time everybody's laughing. You know what I mean? For real. It's just, I've gotten to a point. Hold on. More important. I don't want to use. I'm facing consequences for my future as a result of my active, and I don't know how to rebuild my life. I don't think I can do it. Okay. Well, now we're getting somewhere, right? This is nuts and bolts stuff. Of course you can do it. Now, I understand why you think you can't do it, Jana. I really do. You're not alone, right? You do realize this, that I had that exact same feeling. And so did every single other person on this channel and any other person anywhere in the world who ever got sober and rebuilt their life has had the exact same thought that you are having right now for the same reason. I'm facing consequences for my future as a result of my active addiction, right? I don't know how to rebuild my life. Okay. And I don't think I can do it. I never thought that there would be a chance in hell that I could rebuild my life until I met somebody who made me believe that it was possible. And sadly, it took 46 years for that to happen. I'm here to tell you that I don't care how bad you've trashed your life. I don't care how addicted you are. There isn't going to get a point where you can't rebuild. And I know people get tired of me saying this, but tough crap, because it is why I've started this channel, right? But if I can change my life, I'm sorry, there's no one that can. I had a 6 to 7 gram a day heroin habit, right? Day in, day out, every day. I went to prison for bank robbery, right? For selling guns illegally, felon in possession of a firearm, right? I have been thrown away by society so many times. And, I made every single person who ever cared about me hate me. I mean, unless they had the same last name. My family never turned their back on me. But I sat in a prison cell at 46 years old and came to the realization, as this man said to me, go in there and design the new you. Go in there and write down everything you want to be, how you would like to be described by people. If they were just to describe you, what would they say? And at 46, I had to decide what I wanted to be, because I had just been such a piece of crap for so long that I didn't even know. I didn't even know what, it was a heavy thing to come up with the concept of what I want to be. If it's just a matter of rebuilding your life, we start with really small baby steps on this. And I can, if you reach out to me and send me an email, there is some stuff that I can send to you, Jana, that that can help you specifically with the rebuilding part. Because and I absolutely don't ever want to become what is that guy's name? Damn, this is so funny. What's the name of the guy? Hold on a second. Because I got to look this up, people, because this is going to drive me nuts. This is so unprofessional. It is so unprofessional, but I don't care. So, I don't want to be Dave Ramsey. That's the name I was looking for. I'm not trying to be Dave Ramsey. It's not my get down. It's not my pitch. It's not what I do. However, I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how much money you make. You can live so much differently than you're living right now on the money you make. But the average person is so stupid with money. I'm sorry, it's the truth. And I realized this by becoming a new me. Part of becoming the new me was I wasn't going to be an ass with my cash. If I had $200 in my pocket, I didn't have to spend it before I went home, right? Like that was a new concept to me. If I left the house in my old life with money in my pocket, it had no intention of ever coming back with me, right? If I left the house with $2,000, I was coming home with nothing. If I left the house with $10,000, I was coming home with nothing. That's how I lived, right? I mean, and it's not like I was out living a lavish lifestyle. It was usually just dope. I was usually just spending it on drugs. But if not, I was spending it at a restaurant because I wasn't cooking stuff, and I certainly didn't have anything in my refrigerator, right? So it was just a matter of dope and eating, and that was, But once I started living a different life, and once I started to, I had a job and I was going and working at a shipyard and doing what I was doing, and I would write down every dollar I spent, right, for an entire week. What did I spend money on? And then I would take that week and I would extrapolate, right? I'd say multiply that by 52, right? It gives me an idea of what this is going to look at after an entire year of me pissing away my money. And you start figuring it out and you go, okay, so over the course of the next year, I'm going to spend $880 on coffee at Starbucks. Right? Well, that makes a hell of a lot of sense, right? If I'm pulling 25 grand in a year, right? Like that's what I'm making. I'm going to give up, 1/25 of that so that I can buy coffee at Starbucks. And then you start realizing some of the other crap you do. Like over the course of the year, I'm going to spend $2,000 at the checkout at either a grocery store or at 7-Eleven, but right where they get you with the Slim Jim and the chocolate bar and the newspaper or the bust of Elvis found on Mars headline that is jumping out at you from the National Enquirer. It's overwhelming, but it can be done, says Full of Hope. And she's right. Member for 8. Do you hear this, Paula? 8 months? Is that possible? Wow. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it, sister? 8 months? Oh, my Lord. Listen to this. I track my finances on Excel every day. Kathy, working out pretty good, right? I mean, it works beautifully. If you track what you're spending money on, the amount of money that you can save by the end of the year is astounding. And by compounding that money, right? I know no one is listening to this who's 20 years old. Sad, but true. But if I knew then what I know now, I mean, if you take, I used to spend $700 a day, right? $600 or $700 every day on dope. If I had every day taken $50 out of that money and gone to a bank and put it into a bank for my retirement, do you have any idea where I would be right now? If I had done that for 30 years, $50 a day, do you have any idea where I'd be right now? I'd be right here. I would. I was going to say I'd be wearing a much nicer watch, but to be honest with you, I don't know. This is a 1982 Rolex reference 16800, a Submariner date, and it was the still had tritium. I don't know. It's one of my favorite pieces. Really, really a pretty cool watch. Empty fridge. I didn't have it. There was, the fridge was pointless. The only thing I ever kept in the refrigerator, there would be like a gallon of milk, because there was a period of time where that was really like, if I didn't have it, I don't know how to explain it, but I know that it doesn't make any sense, but I would get really bad heartburn if I didn't drink milk. And I know that that's stupid because it's the exact opposite. By drinking milk, you're actually causing more heartburn or whatever. And it's only buying you instant relief. But I would pound about, I don't know, a quarter of a gallon of it. And I would feel good for, hours most of the day. And then I would end up doing a lot more of it. But you've all seen me drink milk. If you haven't seen me drink milk, shame on you. I actually do one of the world's greatest vomits in the history of YouTube. The sound that I make on that, if you just don't even watch it and just listen to the sound, it really is one of the most amazing sounds. If there is ever a contest for vomit of the year, right, for hurl of the year, and you do not nominate me, and by you, I mean all of you and you, that should be nominated. That's one of the funniest sounds anyone has ever made. Really is. If you haven't seen it, you really missed out. Balake Richardson, Seal Rock Squawk. I believe that is ZW saying hello. There is a video of that, says Seventh Son. There most assuredly is. And I think I'm ready to make an announcement. There will be Systroming. It is official. There will be Systroming. That Systroming will be in the first week, I think, of September. The only thing that might change, but it will be in the first 10 days. The only thing that might change that is how the trial for Danny Masterson, how that whole thing goes. Because at this moment, currently, I intend to go out for that. Not so much because I really feel like I need to cover the Danny Masterson trial, because it's not, it's definitely an SPTV thing. And we do work with SPTV. We're friends with them in a big way. It's certainly not our mission. Our mission is to get people off of drugs and alcohol, but Scientology is as evil as any drug. So I feel like people are trying to get off of that. It's kind of a synergistic kind of a thing. And since I kind of feel like they kind of have, I don't know. Yeah, I think they should probably be stopped. I like their mission over there at SPTV. I really do. And there's this dude I've been meaning to run into for a while now. Guy that I'd like to run into, and I'm almost 100% sure he still lives out there. This guy and I don't talk, but I'm pretty sure that's where he lives. So I'd like to go out there and go out there and maybe see my friend. So just depends on how that works out as to when we do this Systroming. And if I do And if I do the LA thing, I will give everybody a heads up because we've got some subscribers in the LA area, so I could, we'll give a shout out if we're going to be out there, so I have time to at least run into some of you. Zenwen, thank you so much. I think I might have missed you yesterday too, ZW. I've been trying to spend a little bit less time in the comment section, especially at night. If I get in the comment section and I start talking with people, it speeds up the chat. A lot of people actually respond more when I'm responding to it. Like we've actually been tracking this. So I'm not trying to speed the chat up too much. Toward the end of the show, it's not as big a deal. But for the first 35, 45 minutes, I'm going to try to maybe not do that. Also, we have something we're going to be experimenting with probably later on in the week that we're playing with right now that it's going to change up a little bit. It's going to have a full-time person who just deals with chat while I'm talking. It won't change. You won't see much of a difference, but I'm going to have something behind the scenes that's working, and it may make life easier for all of us. Annette, we thought you were holding our hand. Annette says, thanks for holding my hand today. We thought you were holding ours. I hate to mess with her right now. Her head is hanging off of the side of the basket. She is literally asleep with her head hanging completely off of the side of the basket. Are you asleep, or are you just looking at something? No, you're aware. All right, I am Captain Tommy Scoville. And this right now, that is a cat in a basket. Right? He's a good kitty who's about to go get a TREAT. Because when you stay in that basket and act like this kind of a cat, and you're a diva and a star, then you can eat cat treats like they're your normal cat food, because this feline knows how to live. Thank you all for being who you are. And thank you for making this fun, because I'm having a ball. Go ahead, squirrel. Turn off that computer, would you? Good girl. Good girl.